Attach seriousness to treason felony charge against backer Vormawor, court to prosecutors. The Ashamun District Court has asked state prosecutors to attach seriousness to the treason felony charge filed against Oliver Backer Vormawor, a convener of the # Fix the Country movement. The court gave the warning Tuesday morning, March 15, 2022, when the case came up for hearing and the prosecution was absent in court. The court cannot wait for anyone, and if the state is interested in pursuing the case, it ought to show all seriousness, because I will not take any unseriousness on the part of the state in connection with this case, the court, presided over by Mrs. Eleanor Kakra Barnes-Botchway said. The absence of the prosecution saw the legal team of Backer Vormawor praying the court to discharge him since the state was showing a lack of interest in the case. Counsel for Backer Vormawor, Dr. Justice Srem Sai, argued that the prosecution has still not formally charged him with the offense and has also not submitted any bill of indictment. We have realized that the prosecution has lost interest totally in pursuing the case, and we insist the facts in court do not support the charge of treason felony, and we pray accordingly. We pray the court to discharge the accused, Dr. Srem Sai said. Backer Vormawor on Tuesday displayed a sheet with the inscription, "Still, Justice for Saul, Sun Trakafi, Okpafo, Lalobi, and Likpi." Prosecution. A prosecutor, Chief Inspector George Doe, who later came to hold brief for DSP Sylvester Asari, who has been handling the case since it started, requested for an hour break to enable him receive instructions from DSP Asari. Although I have not received any instructions from DSP Sylvester Asari, who is the prosecutor in the case, I think it is too early for the defense to pray for the accused to be discharged, Chief Inspector Doe, who moved in after proceedings had started, argued. He also argued that the state had on previous sittings indicated that the crime was an indictable offense, and by the nature of the case, prosecution needed to furnish the Attorney General with the case for advice, he said. He said the trial can only take place when the prosecution receives the advice from the AG to formally charge the accused to go through the committal proceedings. Court. The judge, Mrs. Barnes-Botchway, wondered why the prosecution would fail to appear in court and its representatives also coming in after proceedings had commenced. The court cannot wait for anyone, and if the state is interested in pursuing the case, it ought to show all seriousness, because I will not take any unseriousness on the part of the state in connection with this case, the judge said. The court, therefore, remanded Backer Vormawor into police custody for another 2 weeks to reappear on March 29, 2022. Search warrant. Backer Vormawor's lawyers also attempted to seek the leave of the court to appeal a search warrant it had earlier issued, in connection with the accused mobile phone. However, the court said since the prosecution was not readily available, the application would not be taken. The lawyers were urged to table the motion on the next adjourned date. Nyayagana, Accra.